don't notice it at first. That is the mechanism. They don't arrive as a danger. They arrive as precision, calm voice, controlled presence, emotional fluency that feels like recognition returning after a long silence. They notice what others miss, your hesitation before sentences, the exact micro shift in your confidence, the way you soften when you want approval. And it feels like being seen, but it is not seeing. It is indexing, not connection access. They do not bond with you. They map your emotional system. Attention, validation, guilt response, repair behavior, silence threshold. At first it is intensity, disguised as meaning, fast closeness, constant contact, emotional urgency that feels like destiny accelerating. You call it chemistry, but intensity is not intimacy. Intensity is control that moves faster than doubt, and the structure changes without announcement. A pause that feels engineered. A joke with hidden ownership. Care that becomes conditional without changing tone. And because the beginning felt real, you begin defending the beginning instead of perceiving the present. So you adapt into stability. You explain more than necessary. You apologize before conflict exists. You monitor yourself in real time until something irreversible happens. You are no longer in a relationship. You are maintaining an emotional system. A system where your reactions are fuel. Confusion is introduced. Clarity is demanded. Distance is created. Pursuit is punished. Damage is created. Repair is assigned to you. And slowly your internal reference point collapses. Memory becomes negotiable. Emotion becomes evidence against you. Silence becomes survival architecture. You think you are preserving peace, but you are shrinking into predictability. And people outside the system notice first. You look quieter, less anchored, slightly absent from your own life. You defend the system because reality feels heavier than distortion. But erosion is never loud. It is removal of self in increments. Then one moment breaks it open. You are alone after an argument. And the silence does not feel empty. It feels revealing, because exhaustion never performs. It only tells the truth. And the truth is simple. Some people are not loving you. They are regulating themselves through you. What you felt was not connection. It was calibration. They study your rhythms the way a technician studies voltage. Where you spark, where you dip, where reassurance restores you, where rejection destabilizes you. And once the map is complete, extraction begins. Not dramatically, not violently, efficiently. You leave conversations slightly fogged. You replay small moments, searching for what shifted. You feel responsible for tension you can't locate. That's the first drain. Mental bandwidth. They introduce ambiguity with surgical timing. A compliment followed by a subtle downgrade. Warmth followed by micro-withdrawal. Affection that expires unless you perform correctly. Your nervous system does not recognize abuse. It recognizes unpredictability. Unpredictability forces vigilance. Vigilance consumes energy. Your battery's not draining because of conflict. It is draining because of anticipation. You begin pre-adjusting, filtering tone, editing thoughts, monitoring facial expressions, measuring pauses between texts. This is not love. This is load-bearing. Because the moment you enter hyper-awareness, they exit it. Your anxiety stabilizes their insecurity. Your overfunctioning compensates for their emotional deficit. They do not feel powerful by dominating you. They feel powerful by outsourcing their regulation to you. That is the vampiric exchange. You think you are trying harder. But what you are actually doing is supplying coherence to someone who cannot generate it internally. Notice what happens after you spend extended time with them. You are tired in a way sleep does not fix. Not physically, neurologically. Decision fatigue increases. Motivation drops. Creative impulse dulls. Your body knows before your mind admits it. Because a drain is not just emotional, it is identity-based. They slowly detach you from independent sources of charge. Friends become negative influences. Hobbies become selfish distractions. Solitude becomes avoidance. Your ecosystem narrows. And when your ecosystem narrows, your only source of validation becomes the very person depleting you. Dependency feels like devotion when engineered correctly. Now, escalation. When your energy lowers, you become easier to manage. Less resistant. Less questioning. More compliant. They escalate demand subtly. More access. More emotional labor. More reassurance cycles. If you pull back, they activate scarcity. Cold tone, delayed response, emotional absence, and your system spikes again. Withdrawal hurts more than mistreatment. So you return, not because they improved, but because relief feels like love when you are energy deprived. This is the addiction loop. High intensity, sudden drop, repair phase, temporary calm, repeat. Every cycle costs you more charge, but gives you less clarity. And the most dangerous shift happens quietly. You begin confusing depletion with depth. If I'm this exhausted, it must be meaningful. If it hurts this much, it must matter. But depth does not erode you. Depth expands you. If someone requires your constant output to remain stable, you are not their partner. You are their battery pack. And batteries are replaceable. That realization is destabilizing. Because you thought you were chosen for who you are. But you were chosen for what you provide. Attention, stability, forgiveness. When your output decreases, their irritation increases. Not because you changed, because the supply fluctuated. And here's the part most people miss. The drain stops the moment access stops. Not instantly, but noticeably. The fog begins lifting within days of distance. Your thoughts regain linearity. Your body stops bracing. Silence becomes restorative instead of threatening. Energy returns where boundaries begin. They may attempt reactivation, sudden nostalgia, crisis narratives, unexpected warmth. But this is not missing you. It is detecting loss of supply. The system wants its charge back. And this is where structure breaks permanently. Once you see the exchange clearly, you cannot unsee it. You notice how often conversations circle back, how rarely your needs land without negotiation, how every repair leaves you more fatigued than before. Awareness interrupts extraction, and when you stop providing unconscious energy, something shifts. They escalate theatrics, or they disengage entirely. Either response confirms the architecture. Healthy bonds generate energy through reciprocity. Dysfunctional bonds generate dependence through depletion. One multiplies, the other consumes. So ask yourself one precise question. After consistent exposure, are you more yourself or less? Not more attached, not more invested, more yourself. Energy is the metric. When someone truly loves you, proximity stabilizes you. Your breathing slows. Your mind softens. Your sense of self strengthens. When someone feeds on you, proximity destabilizes you. Your vigilance rises. Your doubt expands. Your vitality contracts. You do not need dramatic proof. Your battery tells the story. And here is the part that changes everything. They were never feeding on your weakness. They were feeding on your strength, your empathy, your patience, your ability to self-reflect, your willingness to repair what you didn't break. That is what powered the system. You were not too sensitive. You were too giving without protection. And once you see that, the shame dissolves. Because the exhaustion was never proof that you were failing. It was proof that you were carrying two nervous systems on one spine. Of course you felt tired. Of course you felt foggy. Of course you started doubting yourself. You were stabilizing someone who refused to stabilize themselves. And here's the shift that ends it permanently. You stop trying to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you. You stop explaining to someone invested in confusion. You stop offering oxygen to someone who only breathes through control. And the moment you withdraw your energy, not angrily, not dramatically, just deliberately, something almost unsettling happens. They weaken, not because you attacked them, but because the supply line closed. No chaos, no performance, no re-entry, just absence of access. And without access, the illusion collapses. Because parasites require hosts, they cannot survive in self-sustained environments. The day you choose internal stability over external validation is the day the drain ends. Not because they changed, but because you did. And when your energy is no longer available for extraction, you don't just feel relief. You feel power return. Clear, quiet, self-contained. Not intensity, not chaos, just you. And that is something no one can drain again. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. It genuinely helps support the time and effort that goes into creating these videos. Sharing it with someone who might find it interesting also makes a bigger difference than you might think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.